Welcome to Learning in Limestone. Our goal, success for all.
Blockbuster films like Wallace and Gromit and The Nightmare Before Christmas use stop-motion animation. In Limestone classrooms, the art of claymation supports media literacy. Let's take a look. What social and academic skills do students learn while working on this claymation project?
Socially, the big one is collaboration. Students are working in teams for this project, and they need to effectively communicate with one another as they're taking on different roles and responsibilities within their group. Academically, students have written an original narrative, which includes a positive message or a moral. In visual arts, students have created three-dimensional characters and sets using modeling clay and other materials. In math, students have learned how to calculate the number of frames they need to capture per scene based on a couple variables. And as you can see, technology is a big part of it as well. We're using a stop-motion app on the iPads to produce our films. As well, media literacy is a focus for this project.
What is media literacy?
Media literacy involves being able to think critically and ask questions about the media you're consuming. So whether it's an ad, commercial, video, news story, blog, or tweet. It also involves being able to create your own media. So in this project, we're really focused on engaging our target audience through different ways. For example, whether it's strong visuals, great storytelling, humor, or different technical effects.
How does digital storytelling support students' learning and their creativity?
So digital storytelling has really allowed us to take the students' stories and bring them to life through technology. Students now have an idea of what it takes to produce a short animated film. They've been super engaged and creative throughout this entire process, and they're quite excited to be able to share their films with other classes here at Bath Public School.
Well, it's looking very successful.
Thank you.
Can you describe what your movie is about and tell us about the message and the moral of your story?
My movie is about a science experiment gone wrong where a guy mutates into a giant beast and starts wreaking havoc on the city. 3 superheroes each try and fail to capture him. Eventually, they figure out they need to work together, and when they do, they bring him to justice. And the message of the story is teamwork, because sometimes you can't do things on your own.
Can you explain what steps or stages you had to take in order to make your film?
Sure. So first we had to come up with the idea for the story, making sure that it was interesting enough to keep the audience's attention, but also making sure that it had a moral to it, so there was something you could take away from it. After we came up with the idea, we laid it out on a storyboard, just checking to see that all the different pieces came together, so the story had a nice flow to it. After we finished the storyboard, that's when we started making the sets and making the characters. This part was my favorite because I loved adding like the little details to it. And also, what was also really important was proportions, because you didn't want a tree to be the same height as a character, and the character was supposed to be, average sized. That just wouldn't make sense. After we finished making the characters and making the sets, that's when we started filming, and that's the stage we're on here today. And we're very fortunate that we have iPads, and we're able to use a stop-motion app on the iPads, and it allows us to show the picture before on the picture we're taking now, so we can make sure that there's small movements so it's not jumping from one side of the set to the other. After we finish filming, that's when we're going to be doing our editing, and this includes adding voiceovers and sound effects like explosions and splashes, if it's that sort of thing. And after we finish editing, we're going to be sharing our movie, and our target audience was grades 3 to 8, so we had to make sure that it was appropriate for all those ages and that they all enjoyed it.
What's the title of your story?
The title of our story is called The Beast.
And what did you find most challenging, and what did you enjoy most about this project?
The part I found most challenging was designing the characters, for sure, because oftentimes they would fall apart as we were moving the characters around in our set. And the part I most enjoyed was probably the teamwork, because it's a lot easier to do this as a team.
Stop-motion animation is a unique way for students to learn hands-on about new digital media. This is just one way that Limestone is bringing innovation into action and truly bringing learning alive.
Learning in Limestone is brought to you by the Limestone District School Board.